I'm grateful that most of the people we work with are very quick to allow for the possibility of Satan playing some kind of role in sabotaging the sexual self-mastery issues and the other big stuff. I am finding myself in many of my Sons of Helaman Men Moroni meetings walking through each of the 6 squares. Which of your squares is most likely to be challenging in the next 24 hours? So most of them can figure that out quickly. My reading. What time and where are you going to be when this battle takes place? Now, in most cases, they have no idea, even though I asked them the same question a week before, so I just leave some space and we go, tomorrow at home. Let's be more specific. Tomorrow in the morning, tomorrow in the afternoon, tomorrow at night. Well, I don't know, think about it. So we really want to exercise their prophesying brain. If you really want to do something cool with your brain, do a 1-sentence prayer and say, Father, please be with me while I do this. And then walk through your day and look for the next satanic attack. And I will practically guarantee you that you will find one in the next 24 hours. You will find that he's going to try to mess you up, knock you out of balance, torment you, tempt you with something, create some turmoil in your head. Write down what time, as close as you can to the minute. Right as my husband leaves the house and forgets to say he loves me. Is that a hard one to predict what kind of satanic attack you're going to get in that moment? Well, he usually says he loves me. Maybe he's mad at me right now. Why didn't he say he loves me? Is there something wrong? Is there another woman? Is he cheating on me? Please do not come to the conclusion you're doing that to yourself. That is not you. That's called torment. For a reason. Torment does not come from you. And I'm okay if the parents do this, as long as you don't get over-controlling with it, but just supportive with it. When is Satan going to attack you in the next 24 hours? Probably my reading square. Wow, that is so cool that you figured that out. What's he gonna say? Well, what would Satan say to me to talk me out of reading at that time? Well, he would say, you don't want to read. Really? Yeah, because you read yesterday. Oh, yeah. But I scheduled myself to read. But you overschedule it. You don't really need to read. You don't like it anyway. I don't? No. Oh, okay. Wait, we call that a level 4, the irrational conversation. Because you're on the verge of going, oh yeah, I don't want to read today. Why did I ever promise myself I would read today? What a weird thing to do. Then we say, what are you going to do to defeat him? Not only defeat him, but crush his head. I'm going to predict what he's going to say to me, and I'm going to have my own swords and weapons and sledgehammers to pound on his head. And my favorite one for them to put together is, I knew you were going to say that. And Satan always goes, yeah, you were going to say this, and now you're going to say this, and now you're going to say this. And he's all, how the crud can a teenage boy predict what I'm going to say, the ultimate satanic genius? Because you're pretty predictable. People often mistake me as a person who can read people's minds. I don't actually read people's minds. All I do is I say, if I were in their shoes right then, what would I say to them if I was a jerk demon? It's not really hard to figure out unless you're not accustomed to being a jerk. Well, I came from a family of 9 boys. I'm actually really good at being a jerk. I had 6 little brothers. I love new guys in our group sessions because the older veterans will let me do that for a minute. But I've always got one guy that insists on being a wingman, a helper. No, dude, he's playing Satan on you. You gotta catch him. I'm all, no, I'm not. I'm using my therapist voice. I sound very professional and accurate. He's lying, man. You gotta discern it. He's messing with your head. That's called sparring. That's called a drill. We help them practice observing it and catching it. So one of the greatest things you can do with him is just help him prepare for his next 24 hours so he can win all of his manpower squares. And I always want them to put on their calendar, and when is Satan going to have you crossing your sexual self-mastery boundaries, your values? What time is that going to be? We don't ever have to talk about anything that's uncomfortable. You just say, when's he going to attack you? I don't ask, well, what's he going to tell you to do? It doesn't matter what he's going to tell him to do. He doesn't want to go down that path at all. And you don't go, well, why do you think you're going to want to do that? Don't ask that question. Why do you think you're going to want to yell at me later today, Mom? Oh, I don't want to yell at you. You just deserve it. I mean, wait. Notice the satanic tricks on you so that your son doesn't feel like he's a weirdo when there's a satanic trick on him, and you can be relatable to it. And then ask him, what's his plan to win? Of course his plan's going to be horrible at first, just like playing the piano is going to be horrible at first. Let him try a horrible plan and let it not work. But in the big picture, my friends, please keep in mind, how old is your son? How old is Satan? Imagine 2 people playing basketball with that type of age difference. It is truly a miracle anytime a teenage boy can win a sexual self-mastery battle. Please treat it like a glorious miracle when they win instead of a complete catastrophe if they lose. And put yourself in a position of psychological empathy with God for a second and ask yourself, does God know how hard this battle is? Is he surprised that sexual self-mastery is so hard to control, especially in men? I mean, I guess it is for many women too. And how does God actually feel when one of his valiant teenage sons is knocked to the floor by a professional psychological military strategist? Would you be disappointed in a valiant junior high kid who tries to beat up a college kid? Would you be disappointed if they lose? If your husband's dealing with the same thing, that's a whole different conversation. These are teenage boys, not adult men who should have control by now. I completely expect any man over the age of 21 to quickly acquire full sexual self-mastery for the rest of his life. He's got the frontal lobe for it, he's got the maturity for it, he should be able to acquire it with a nice chunk of effort. It might take him 4 to 6 months, but he should have all the pieces in place by then.